All right, it's April 3rd. Um, Doing some things on the Jag today. But since Dad was asking about the tankless water heater, um, here it is installed. I mounted it up high so that there would be more storage room. This is a indoor model, which means that it has to vent, but it also means you can have it inside the house. So it's in the garage, in the closet, with my air compressor. I has the 3/4 inch gas line to feed it, and then I added the valve on the input to the house so that if you have to service it, you can shut it off there, and you can shut off the input there. The gas line has a little drip leg on it so that apparently as debris comes in, it'll settle down in that lower pipe. I added an expansion tank because the water softener has a check valve in it. There's the PVC pipe. The lower one is for the air intake, which comes to that port there to bring fresh air in. And then the upper one ducts out what was the upper vent. I capped off where the tanked water heater's exhaust went with the galvanized pipe, which you can't use with a tankless heater. The PVC pipe is just normal PVC pipe. You can't use the one with air in it. It has to be the solid PVC. I guess there's one that has air bubbles, I guess, to make it lighter or something. But you can't use that one. It has to be the solid. And then it has the condensate tube, which dumps the corrosive condensate out. Let's see. I ran a line so we can get hot water in the garage. You have to put these valves on here so you can clean it out. You flush vinegar through it. You're supposed to do that every year. It's all stainless steel inside, but if calcium builds up, that's bad. And then it has the control module here. And if somebody was using it, then there's a little light above the two that would light up to show you that was on. And you can hear it because it makes noise. Now go ahead and start it. So it's on now, and it uses a fan to move air through the system, but that's all the noise that it makes when it's running. So it's pretty cool. If you have like a hot tub or not a hot tub, but a whirlpool bath, it's great. Or if you have Blaze, who makes my showers look like the Baton Death March. No, the other way around. It's good to have, hot water. And this is one of those things where, government regulation is generally bad because they're stupid. But this is something where I think they could do something on, in a place like Texas where water shortages are the norm, is that there should be a rule that the water heater needs to be within so many feet of the bathrooms. Because this is a 5,000 square foot house, and the water heater here is on the complete opposite side of the bedrooms, which are obviously going to be the highest hot water use. So it takes almost 2 minutes of running the water on full to get hot water all the way across the house to the showers. The Jag, I'm going to install my wire ties. And I got these pictures of the internet. This is, I'm assuming, a Martin Roby replacement panel, because this guy is doing everything. You can see, well, you probably can't see because of the ink on the printer's all goofed up, dried up probably, but he's got these big globby welds on old metal. So I'm assuming these are the Martin Roby replacements, which are all supposed to be built off the original dies. And so I'm putting them so the tops are 4.5 inches above the floor. This one in the very back, which will be on that mark, is 3 inches, and then 6 inches and 6 inches. And I think that pretty much matches 6 inches and 6 inches. And then this one I'm taking out to 10, which will put it at that mark. And then the last one, I only put the vertical mark for the 4.5 inches for the top of it to match. Probably a lot more precise than the Union guys did at the Jaguar factory. But it's the way I have to do it. So I'm going to use my grinder, take off the paint in those areas, and then shoot it with the copper weld through primer, and then let that dry for a couple hours. See if Derek is ready to watch the F1 race, which is recording. And if he's not, then I'll go ahead and drill the access holes like I have there. There's supposed to be a residual one there, another one back here, which seems excessive. And then I'm going to put another one up in the very front, which will allow me to spray and get good coverage on the inside of the sill in front of. For that, there's a brace like this one under there in the front, a triangulated brace. So that way I can get the chassis saver paint up in there really well. So that's what we're doing. All right, so I got the tabs in, except for that one, which I didn't get a good weld on. The rest of them are all welded up nice, blended the welds in so they're all nice and smooth. One of these things doesn't look like the others because I put it on backwards because I'm old. Drilled a hole 3/4 inch. The center line is 3/4 of an inch up from the floor. So I match that there and there. And now I'm going to do the ones in the front, which I've marked. In the picture, on this one, let's see, right there by my thumb, there's a hole in the Roby panel. And you can see again, he doesn't have floors. But that's at the B pillar over there. And if there was a hole there, it would just open up into that internal brace, which is stupid. So I'm not even going to bother with that one. And plus, the only reason I'm really putting these in here is so that I can spray the chassis saver paint and make the sills perfect forever. So chug it along. All right, so for some reason, I got all the holes. Holes are done. For some reason, try this. That tab isn't, the weld isn't holding. Put it on twice, it popped off both times. That's virgin metal. I've never touched that before, except to grind off the old tab that was on there before. So I made the hole bigger in the tab. I shot weld through primer on it. I'm not going to shoot weld through primer on this side. And I'm going to get that tucked in there. This is not like it's outside or anything like that. Exposed to the weather, so it'll all be coated with more epoxy primer and then some kind of coating. The other thing we had The dragon that we've been battling is the concreted mud or dust. 45 years of sitting in there, and that's along the bottom in places. And so I had used the hook. Where are we? God, everything's all. Oh. I tried using that hook to scrape it out. Of course, it didn't. So I found these razor blades that have hooks on them. And then the question is, how do I get them down in that hole? So what I've done is I have my wire fish, and then I got an 8/32 threaded coupling, and I found these at Harbor Freight for $1. And so what I'm going to do is weld a coupling to this. I'll cut it off here because I don't need the whole handle. And then this will thread through, and then this will hold the hooked razor blades, which should then be able to dig into the concreted dust. So we'll see how that goes. I'd rather not put the chassis saver paint on top of the concreted dust. So we'll see how this goes. Otherwise, I'm not sure there's not much else I can do because there's really no access in there. All right, so third time's the charm. I got that on there and it's holding. Now I'm working on my little scraper tool to get the concreted dirt out of the inside of the sill. So what I did, I cut the handle off, and then I welded that coupling on there at an angle so that it would go like this. I had to cut the little tab out of there so that he will sit inside like that, and then this will go on, clamp it into place, and we should have a viable tool. So we'll give it a shot. I have 3 of the bars. I'm not sure if I need to tape them together to get more downward pressure, or if the mere hookiness of the razor blade is enough to do what we need to do. But we'll see. And I'm gonna go ahead and hook the scope. I think I used this little one. Hook that up, help navigate and record, see how it works. Alright, so it looks like you should be able to hear me narrate this. You should be able to hear me narrate this, so let's see how this works. Unfortunately, the image quality isn't good enough. That's all metal shavings from drilling out those holes. That looks like dirt. And now we're up by that tab that I couldn't get welded. This looks to be where the bulk of the dirt is. Alright, so so there's a flaw in my design, no shocker, which you can't see, but basically the razor blade slipped. And so we weren't really getting good good traction. I think, looking at it here, that what I really need to do is see if I can't position it differently so that we're really getting some good blade action. I may need to get another blade and more gingerly cut out that center tab. Okay, let's try this again. This time with more feeling. That seems to be working better. You can see that the blade is still sticking out. Yeah, see how we hooked some of that? okay. Definitely made progress. Light's still sticking out. So now what I'm going to do is blow it out with the air, but you don't need to hear that because it'll be noisy. Alright, so I use the boroscope for this, but what I do is I just put a fitting on the end of the hose and then blast 150 psi of air through it. OSHA would freak out, but there are people in government and there are people that get shit done. Those two groups do not intersect. So let's see how it cleaned up. It's significantly better. Yeah, I think we're there. Yeah, we're not there. This is under the forward brace. That angled part there is the brace. That flange you can see at the top of the screen is the round, like 3-inch hole that's punched in there. I think I'm making progress because you can kind of see the curves from the knife blade. I think that's good. like we have a little hole right there. Not really sure where that is. It must be really small because I can't see it from the inside. And I cannot get this big clump out. Ah, shit. Does seem like something we'd want to get out, but I'm not hopeful. I put the pink plug in there as a reference. It's a wine bottle cork. But the metal all looks good. I think we're ready because I don't see very much possibility of making progress on this nut. There's no way to get a straight shot in there. I am inclined just to leave it. Alright, that last little dirt clod is actually potentially reachable with a long screwdriver. Just sticking my arm in there. So this is not that dirt clod. This is the stuff that I was hitting before. Oh, I attached my boroscope to my long ass screwdriver. Let's see if we can find the ropes. There's a dead bug. There's some rust in there. That's that dirt clod, but the challenge is that I may not be able to get my hand in there deep enough. With the support reinforcing bracket thing. It prevents my hand from going in. just on the edge of what I can reach. That actually is a hole in the outer sill. This shit's hard. Hurts my hand. Maybe we got it, or most of it. It's good because it's killing my hand. All right, let's blow this out. You can see it hurts. Mostly muscle stretching weird ways. All right, sorry about the noise from the air compressor. Let's look to see. Yeah, I'd say we pretty much got it. I think that's great. Alright, so we're going to call declare victory and wrap up for the day. Because we're going out for dinner.